When we first talked about support vector machines, the example we discussed was really straightforward. There was a big separation between the blue and the orange points. But what do we do if this isn't always the case? For example, imagine we had a new orange point that was here. Would we really want to put the line that separates the classes between this orange point and this blue point, like I've shown here? It seems like this model might not generalize well if we had new additional points. So if we did have these points and we did put this line here though, it would mean the point we were trying to predict before was actually orange. So support vector machines has a parameter that allows us to control how much we want to trade off a large separation between classified examples and a perfect classification, and that parameter is called C. And so to give you an idea of what C essentially does, it basically says, how much should an SVM care about getting everything right, or would it be better, instead of getting everything right, to get the things that it gets right very right? So to basically have a very large margin between the different classes. So if you had a really high C, you're saying, I care a lot about getting every single point precisely correct. And so in this case, the line would be drawn as I showed in the beginning, where it's between the closest orange and blue point. If, on the other hand, we had a medium C, now we're talking about trading off the points that we correctly classify with how broad the margin is. You could imagine that this is probably the situation we would be in at the beginning, where we're willing to give up getting this one orange point, quote-unquote, right, to have a larger separation between the points that we actually succeeded in classifying. And according to a medium C, this point would actually be blue. And you could imagine we could have a very low C, so a C that cares almost exclusively about maximizing margin, and that might actually care less about the close points and actually more about the sort of largest, most distant cluster of points. And again, according to this would also be blue. And so we're going to have to make a decision somewhere in here. So we have to decide what C we want to set. And so this is a really important challenge that we're going to talk about going forward. And it's really, how do you pick an appropriate value for these types of parameters? And we'll talk next time about how we can actually pick an appropriate C.